Hello people and welcome back to the RDF Tactics YouTube channel. I hope you all had a great Christmas. I had a great Christmas and today we have a great tactic. It's a 4-3-3 with 3 strikers tested with Blackburn Rovers and PSG in a testing league. Now I had a conversation on Twitter about certain formations like the 4-2-3-1 and the 4-3-3. People use those formations a lot and therefore it can become quite boring. But you can create different variations of a 4-3-3 and a 4-2-3-1, which is why today we're looking at a 4-3-3 with 3 strikers. So before we get stuck into things, make sure you are subscribed, make sure you like the video, leave a comment, that helps the channel. But also make sure you check out and download this app for OneFootball. If you're new to this channel or you've seen this advert before, please just download the app. It really does help this channel out. So let's run that ad and get stuck in to the video. OneFootball have been amazing enough to sponsor this video, and what I need for you guys to do is check out the app. The link will be in the description. It's fairly easy to do. You can download it via the link or you can use the barcode on the screen. The app is a great footballing app. It's where you can check the latest statistics, the latest football news. You can also watch some live free games. Yes, you heard me right. You can watch free games live for free on the footballing app. It's my favorite place to keep up to date with the most recent football news. You can also find some fantastic analysis and match reports on the OneFootball app as well. If you're attempting to replicate tactics like I do on this channel, you can also use this app to grab the latest match stats and all of that good stuff. So make sure you check out the app. The link is in the description, but also you can use the barcode on the screen, and trust me, you will not regret downloading this app. So I've labelled this tactical style basically RDFootball. I didn't have any other names, so I just named it RDFootball. And we do have some key tactical principles which we'll look at right now. So for the RDFootball to happen, we must play out from the back with a quick tempo to unsettle the opponents, and that requires good ball playing defenders and a good playing holding midfielder. Stretch the pitch when building out from the back, cover all channels, and again this requires good off the ball movement and anticipation from those deeper players. Create a 2-4-4 shape when building out from the back. Always have a numerical superiority over the opposition's first line of press. Always have at least 3 players as the rest defence to stop the opposition from getting a good counter-attack. Cover all 5 vertical channels, which would be the left flank, the left half space, the central channel, the right half space and the right flank when in the creation phase. The centre forward must operate as a false 9, the team's creator, to occupy in the zone 14 and always be a vertical passing option. We always must have runners in behind as well. Create counter movements to create confusion. Look to create overload against the opposition's fullbacks, which would happen mostly with the wingbacks and the Mazzalas, which we will look at in a tactic. Always have a wide option, which is likely to happen through the wingbacks, and that is in a bid to stretch the pitch when in possession. Always apply constant pressure off the ball, which is an attempt to squeeze the pitch out of possession. And lastly, use the goalkeeper as an extra outfield player. So those were the key tactical principles that we are going to set in this 4-3-3 tactic, and of course we already have an idea of what we're looking for. So when it comes to deciding on certain tactical instructions or even player roles, we already have an idea of exactly what we're looking for. And I feel it's much easier to create a tactic when you have a game model in mind. So similar to what I have with the key tactical principles, I already know exactly what we're going for. So now when it comes to building this 4-3-3 tactic, I already know we're going to be looking at a 4-3-3 DM wide, but of course we have to tweak the player's positioning. So let's just clear the squad, and we're just going to put these wingers up front so we have 3 strikers just like that. And now when it comes to the player roles, like I said earlier in the tactical principles, I know that the central striker I'm looking to operate as a false 9, but we also want strikers running in behind, so these strikers are likely going to be advanced forwards. They could be pressing forwards on the attack, but I feel that the advanced forwards are kind of experts on running in behind. I also know that we want to maintain width, and that's through the wing backs or the full backs. So I'm just going to give these full backs the wing back role with the support duty just to start off with. So at the right back as well, we're going to go for the wing back on support. I also know that I want to play out from the back, so I'm just going to use a ball playing defender, well 2 ball playing defenders, and then in possession we are going to be playing out from the defence. defense. So just from my tactical principles, I already sorted out a few of the players' roles and their duties as well. So up front, we have 2 advanced forwards, the false 9. Both fullbacks are wing backs, both on a supportive duty. And in goal, actually, we can use the sweeper keeper because, like I said, we can use the goalkeeper as an extra outfield player. At centre back, we have 2 ball playing defenders just because we want to play out from the defence and we are using the play out of defence instruction. So what we can do, of course, the wing backs are already bombing down those flanks and they're going to occupy those wider areas. So what we can do is have the 2 central defenders operating basically in the half spaces. So now we are covering both flanks, the half spaces, and then our holding midfielder will be occupying that holding position role in the central zone. As the holding midfielder, we do want someone that can ball play on the ball. That doesn't necessarily mean that we have to use a deep line playmaker. Now I quite like the defensive midfielder role on the supportive duty with hold position as a player instruction. This was also recommended by someone called Borough Boy as well, a fantastic tactical creator. So what we can use is that defensive midfielder on support, of course, hold his position as well, and he's just going to occupy that central zone. He's holding his position, he's not going to roam for it, he's not going to roam from it or switch with anybody else. This responsibility is all his, but he also must support the attacking moves. The reason why we're not using the defensive duty is because he won't really support the attackers. So once we push further ahead, there might be a disconnect between the attackers and the midfielders because, of course, the defensive midfielder, he is not going to be supporting. His thinking is just purely to defend. So that's the reason why we will go with the supportive duty, hold position, and this already here, this is our deep players all set up perfectly for my tactical idea. Now ideally when we're playing out from the back, I really wanted a 2-4-4, but that's going to be fairly difficult to get from this shape. So instead we're just going to have to compromise and we're going to look for a 2-1-4-3 instead. So of course the wing backs may look to push up, and then this is our shape here. The 2 ball playing defenders, they're going to shift out wide, operate in a half space. Then we have our holding midfielder, then we have our 4, and then lastly our 3. But the false 9 will drop as well, so our shape could actually look like this, where we have a lot of passing options. Earlier, I also discussed about having at least 3 players as the rest defense. So when we are attacking and if we do get caught, we do have 3 players all there ready to either stop the counter attack or a tactical foul. Just bring them down, stop the game, slow the game down, and stop the opponents from having their counter attack. So again, if we just kind of create a scenario where all of our players are pushed further ahead, so even our 2 central midfielders, if we're pushed further ahead, something like this, so let's say we're attacking down the left hand side, the right back on the right might not necessarily be all the way up down that flank, but we always must have these 3 players holding their position and being that rest defense. We can also add a 4th player if we do count that right wing back, or if we attack down the right hand side, it could be the left wing back. That could be 4 players, which is a who's bonus, of course it is, and that can help us stop the opponent's counter attacks, because of course if you look at this shape, we can be kind of exposed to counter attacks, and that could be the weakness when we are defending. How are we going to create overloads against the opposition's fullbacks? Now this can come through the wing back getting further forward and the advanced forward staying out wider, but we don't always want to rely on that certain scenario to always happen. So to also force this scenario of overloading the opposition's fullback, we're going to use 2 Mazzalas. The Mazzalas are going to drift out wide. They might not necessarily operate right on that left flank or the right flank, just like a wing back, but if the wing back gets further forward and the Mazzala just out wide in this half space here, this can cause a 2 versus 1 situation, or even a 3 versus 1 situation if the striker is there as well. But this can actually help release the advanced forward. So if he pushes up further ahead here, we have 2 players here. This advanced forward can now just focus on getting in behind and becoming a goal scorer in the creation phase. So now moving over to the tactical instructions for the mentality, we're actually just going to keep it on positive. Now we can go for attacking to overload in the attacking final third, but we're just going to go with positive. Well, I know we're going to go with positive because I did start with the attacking mentality, then I switched it to positive. This just brought better results. We kept the ball better, we made better use of possession, but we also carried the theme of overloading in the attacking third. We didn't necessarily lose that, reducing the mentality, we still kept that. So the positive mentality for this tactic has suited perfectly. So for the mentality, positive, and for the tactical instructions in possession, You'll be surprised that we're only using player out of defense. There's nothing else to this. We don't need to overcomplicate it. The player roles and their instructions are going to do most of the work. So something like a Mazzala, if you check, they already have a few instructions involved. We're going to add some instructions to the wing back, to the defensive midfielder as well, I believe, and to the striker. So we're going to add some player instructions. In possession, we didn't need to mess with the instructions too much. So just play out of defense. This will do. In transition, we need to squeeze the pitch when we're out of possession. We need to make the pitch as small as possible. So we're going to counter press. Out of possession, we're going to shift the line of engagement. We're going to shift the defensive line both to much higher. And this here, we are squeezing the opponents on the pitch. We're giving them little space, and when we lose the ball, we're just going to pressurize them right away. When the possession has been won, we're also going to go with a counter attack. And when building out from the back with the goalkeeper, we're going to distribute the ball to the centre backs, and we're going to take short goal kicks. Now for the last of the out of possession instructions, the defensive whip. We're going to force the opposition out wide. The trigger press, we're going to set this to more often, and we're going to prevent that short goalkeeper distribution, which I feel we can do very, very well with the two advanced forwards, the false nine, the two Mazzalas pushing up as well, making it very difficult for the opponents to play out from the back. So for the player instructions, we can start with the wing backs. The goalkeeper doesn't have any instructions. The centre backs just have stay wider. Now for the wing backs, we actually want them to be a little bit more aggressive, both in possession and out of possession. They're the only ones defending on that flanks. Therefore, they need to engage with their opponents as quick as possible, which is why we're adding to their trigger press. We're going to also add tackle harder, cross from the byline, and also cross more often. Something that also works very well is asking them to sit more narrow, which is, I don't know, kind of a contradiction of asking them to stay wider, but it just works. It just works in this game. It's not something that you necessarily have to use, but if you want to be defensively more solid, it can help. It can help. So both wing backs are going to have identical instructions. For the defensive midfielder, it's kind of similar. So we want him to press higher up. We don't want him to kind of press in this area here. We want to press him higher up, where we are kind of defending in a more of a 4-3-3 shape rather than a 4-1-2-3 shape. So we are going to have the defensive midfielder here on support, hold his position. I don't know why he keeps doing that. But then for the trigger press, we're going to have more often, tackle harder, and the passing directness, we're going to use shorter passing just so he can recycle possession and keep hold of the ball. We don't want him losing the ball in dangerous areas. For the Mazzala, only one of them will have an added instruction. Basically, I just wanted someone in central midfield with that added risk taking with their passing. As you would notice, not one of these midfielders has taken more risk when it comes to their passing. So just for the left Mazzala, I don't know, you can have the right Mazzala if you want, but for my left Mazzala, we are going to be taking more risks. And actually, that is the tactic wrapped up basically. So only the Mazzala, the holding midfielder, the two fullbacks and the two centre backs have some instructions, which is going to add to what we are doing in possession. Of course it will, because the Mazzalas will have to be staying out wide. They're going to be getting further forward, moving into their channels, roaming from their position, and the one on the left will be taking more risk. So when we are in possession, we're not just going to be looking at playing out from the back, but in fact the Mazzala is going to be looking at roaming from his position, moving out wider. The wing backs are going to be looking at getting further forward, being more aggressive in possession, crossing from the byline, crossing more often. The false nine, he's going to be dropping deep, but we also know that he's going to be taking more risk on the ball and dribbling more as well. So in possession, we do have instructions, but it's through the player roles and their duties, of course, the added instructions as well. But that there is the tactic wrapped up. Now we're actually going to play a game, but not with Blackburn Rovers. We're going to play a game with PSG that was in a testing league. I think the last game is against Villarreal, so we're going to load up that save. We're going to play that game and see how the tactic plays out in the match. So let's load up that game. So here we are with the PSG save, and as you can see, we are in the FM Tactics Hub League, where we are playing the top 5 teams around the top 5 leagues in Europe. I believe that's how it works. As you can see, we are champions. We played 47, we've won 37, we've drawn 4, and we've lost 6 as well. Most of those losses coming away from home. And we also have a points tally of 115, which is the most, of course. We also have the best goal difference in this very tough league. Mbappe is currently the top goal scorer, but forget about the stats. We will look at the results and data, especially from the Blackburn save. But let's get stuck into this game and see how this tactic plays out during the match. I mean, this is literally the perfect front three. So we have Neymar as the false nine, the main creator, which could be Messi. We could have it this way if we wanted to, but I just want Messi to score some goals, really. So we have Neymar as the false nine, Messi and Mbappe as the advanced forward, sorry. And then we have Di Maria as the Mazzala with variety. Again, we can have it like this. It really doesn't matter. PSG are a very talented squad. But let's just submit this team. Let's stop talking about it and let's play a game. 10 minutes in, no highlights, but it will be a goal kick to Villarreal. I mean, fairly boring 20 minutes here. Here we are, our first highlight, Hakimi Wijnaldum. Let's zoom in a little bit. Puts it into the box and it's Mbappe right away. It's PSG 1, Villarreal 0. We have scored from our first opportunity of the game. It came from a throw-in, I believe. Here we are. It's a throw-in to Wijnaldum. Hakimi on the ball now, variety there. There's the little overload that we are looking for, but it is from a throw-in. It's not really from open play, so it's very difficult to judge and say that it did work. But it was 3 versus 2, and that allowed the cross to come in at the far post. We have been the dominant side in this opening first half. Here's Parejo now, Gerard Moreno. We want that wing back to get close to him there. Gerard Moreno, Paco Alesa. Oh, Mo Gomez, what a save by Navas. What a save. We were split open there. We were split open. Here's Mbappe on the ball now. Hakimi, I think we can speed this up a little. Oh, Hakimi has beaten the fullback there. Oh, unlucky Mbappe. Unlucky, son. Let's speed it up a little bit. So we are at half time and it's been a fairly boring game, I'd say. Fairly boring. And we've had some high scoring games as well. We had some very high scoring games, especially in the Blackburn save. So hopefully the second half will be a lot better. Here's one Bernat now. Is it one? Joan Bernat. And Mbappe over the bar. So here we are playing out from the back. Navas has the ball. And what we can see here is us covering all 5 vertical channels. And this allows us to play out from the back fairly smoothly. Now, this actually happened. I've just rewinded it back quickly. So as you can see, both fullbacks, as we can see, both centre-backs have split. And then we have our holding midfielder. So that covers the left half space, the right half space, the central channels. We have our 2 fullbacks as well operating out in the wider flanks. We also have one of the central midfielders dropping deeper, which creates a nice stagger with his central midfield partner. But as we play it out from here, you can see how easy it is for us to get out from the back, especially just avoiding their press. Now we've beaten their press and we've gone on the attack, but they've cut it out well. They've cut it out fairly well. Here's Pedreza now. Parejo, Quacolon, Ramos intercepts. Here's Angel Di Maria. He plays it down to Messi. It should be 2 and it is 2-0 to PSG. In the last minute, in the dying minutes, Mbappe on the score sheet, Messi on the score sheet, and it is 2-0 to PSG. There's Di Maria picking up the ball in a dangerous area. Here's Messi now, 1-on-1. There's absolutely nothing the goalkeeper can do about that. Oh, is there a last chance in the last minute? Di Maria on the ball now. He's running at the defence. What's he going to do here? Oh, Mbappe just hit the post. Superb football from Di Maria, but Mbappe hits the post. And there we are. PSG deserved their win. It was only a 2-0 win. It wasn't very exciting as we was hoping, but regardless, it's a win. And regardless, we got to see some nice build-up play as well. So that there wraps up the FM Tactics Hub League, where PSG sit on top of the table. We've played 48, we've won 38, we've drawn 4, we've lost 6 with a points tally on 118. Mbappe, the top goal scorer, the most man of the match awards, the highest average rated player. Navas has the most clean sheets as well, so it was a very good season for PSG in this tough league. Now, PSG weren't expected to actually top this group. Now, if we go to the club info general, you can see the media prediction was 5th. We managed to win it, so that is decent. But now, let's go into that Blackburn save. Let's load that save up and let's look at the fantastic results that we got over there. Now, as you can see from our manager overall, Blackburn again tops the table with 46 games, 88 goal difference and a points tally on 113. Bear in mind, actually, most of these games were simulated. Now, the PSG save was fully simulated. I didn't even need to play a game. We fully simulated it to the very last game of the season. Then we played the last game against Villarreal. But with Blackburn Rovers, we played most of the games. Some of it was simulated. But here at Blackburn Rovers, as you can see, Blackburn on top of the table. Sam Gallagher, the top goal scorer in all competitions, 41 goals. Sam Gallagher, the highest average rated player as well. For the most assists, we have 3 players on 15 assists. One of them is Sam Gallagher. For the best pass completion is our centre back. For the most man of the match awards, it's Sam Gallagher Gallagher again, no surprise. We scored the most goals in the Championship and we have the second best defence as well. But let's look at the Championship. So we've played 46, we've won 36, we've drawn 5. Those 5 draws came away from home, all 5 of them as well. Away to Birmingham, Fulham, West Brom, Luton and Cardiff, and the losses 4 out of the 5 came away from home again. So of course, away from home is where the weakness lies, and possibly you could just shift the 2 strikers out wide as wingers, possibly. But we lost away to Peterborough, Bournemouth, Stoke and Barnsley, but then we also lost at home to Sheffield United. We scored 123 goals in the Championship, conceded 35, which you can see here in the team statistics. We have the highest points per game, of course. We've scored the most goals. We have the most shots at goal as well. For the fewest shots against, we are in 8th place, so defensively we aren't the best team in the league. When it comes to best pass completion, we're in 8th. The most possession, we're in 5th place, surprisingly. Most tackles won, not in the top 8. Most dribbles made, not in the top 8. For the most clean sheets, we are in 2nd place with 20, and for the fewest conceded, 2nd place with 35. Now looking at the player stats, Sam Gallagher scored 41 goals. That is almost double. Well, not almost double, but around that number. Almost double than the player that came second. But the player that came second is also our player, Ben Brereton Diaz, the Chilean. Not the Englishman, the Chilean. He scored 24 goals. So for the top goal scorer, the two of the top goal scorers, our players. For the most assists, we do have Teo Eden, we have Joe Rothwell, Sam Gallagher and Ryan Nyambe, all occupying in the top 8 spaces. For the most shots, Sam Gallagher. For the most man of the match award, Sam Gallagher again. For the most key passes, we have Joe Rothwell in the top 8 and Teo as well. For the best pass completion, nobody's there. For the most tackles won, oh, Teo is there in 8th place. For the most dribbles made, we have Ryan Nyambe. He's in 8th place. For the most clean sheets, we have Tomas. He's all the way down in 6th place. And for the fewest conceded, again, Tomas all the way down in 7th place. And just before we look at the data hub as well, we can have a look at the media prediction. Now the media prediction, we are predicted to finish 12th around mid-table, but we comfortably won the league, and that just shows how well this tactic can work given you have the right players. Now we can look at the data hub. Looking at the pass map from the most recent game away to Blackburn, where we won that game comfortably as well. Just look at this pass map, it is looking very delicious. Now we do have a 2 at the back here, and the midfield is not the 2-1-4-3 that we spoke about, but it is looking like a 2-5-3, which is fairly similar. Of course, the defensive midfielder has just pushed up a little bit in the central midfield area, but we can see a lot of ball circulation in the deeper areas, and also utilizing the wide areas. The wing backs, we do like to get the ball out wide, well, basically working the ball out wide to work the ball back inside. Looking at the attacking efficiency, we were aggressive and clinical, by far the best attacking side when looking at the attacking efficiency. For the defensive efficiency, we were quiet and impenetrable, which is always a bonus, especially looking at this shape, because this shape, just looking at it, you'd think, oh, we can expose this side, but defensively we were pretty solid. Now looking at in possession, we infrequently won the ball, which isn't great, but we were reliable in possession. So though we wasn't always great in winning the ball back, we were reliable once we did win the ball back, and we made good use of that possession as well. So we could look at tweaking something defensively. If you guys have any ideas, drop that in the comments. Looking at the goal output now, we were high scoring with an impenetrable defense, which we all knew already. Looking at the passing as well, we completed fewer passes, but we were accurate. But this isn't really relative to us. We don't really care about this because we aren't a possession based side. Finishing second would also be an achievement as well. So the XG table, regardless, tells us that we overachieved and we played very well, especially attacking wise. But before we end this video, let's look at the squad stats. Now the top goal scorers, Sam Gallagher scored 41 goals in 44 starts and getting 15 assists. So his goal output was on what, 56, and he's only played 44 games. Absolutely fantastic. Ben Diaz, he scored 25 goals in all competitions. Bradley Dat scored 16 and Tyrese Dolan scored 10. Looking at the creative players now, Sam Gallagher, again the highest creative player. That is just absolute mental. He's got 15 assists. Teo has 15 as well. So does Joe Rothwell, he has 15. Ryan has 14 assists. Bradley Dack has 9. Joe Buckley has 8. And then we have a few 6s, 1 5s and a couple 2s and 1s, whatever. It doesn't matter. we done very well. But thank you guys for watching this video. That wraps up this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Make sure you try it out as well. The link to my website will be in the description. That is, of course, where you will be downloading this tactic from. I'll speak to you guys soon. Stay safe. Don't forget, if you do like my type of content, make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you leave a comment. That helps this channel out very much, if that makes sense, very much. But also download that OneFootball app. Again, that will help this channel out. I will speak to you guys soon. Stay safe. Shout out to my Patreons, and God bless.